And we are live. Welcome, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host, Sara DiVello, and I'm so excited to welcome back today the amazing Tori Eldridge in this very special pre-launch event, here to tell us about her brand new red hot, flaming hot book, Dance Among the Flames. Tori, welcome to Mystery and Thriller Maven. Tell us about the book.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I am bursting with excitement because it's book release eve and I do not know what I would do without you.
Well, welcome. Tell us about this crazy book, because we are kicking off in the 1500s, then we go to the 1970s. I mean, we are all over the place. And Tori, you just told me right before we went live, this book has been germinating in your brain since the 1990s. Give us the scoop, lady. Tell us the 411.
I know, 1990s. Isn't that insane? Oh my
goodness.
God.
Tracy Clark has just entered the chat.
Tracy.
Award-winning author Tracy Clark. Tracy, welcome to the conversation. Always a pleasure to have you, ma'am. And I'm loving that new profile picture.
I know, isn't it glamorous? Oh my gosh, she'd be as hot as my book cover.
Flaming hot.
Okay, all right, so Dance Among the Flames, what is it? Oh my gosh. It is about a desperate mother who rises from the slums of Bahia, Brazil, to embrace Quimbanda magic on a quest for vengeance and power. It spans 3 continents, 40 years, and a past life in 1560 France. It's got Brazilian gods and sex, and oh my gosh, it's a lot. It is a lot. You know, it's genre bending.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. And as you said, it has been haunting my brain, my creative space since the 1990s. So this launch for this book, it feels like my debut. I mean, because this is the book, you know, Lily Wong thrillers, 3 Lily Wong books. But I got to tell you, this book, this story, Dance Among the Flames, these characters, this is the story that set me on the path to becoming a writer. I know. It's crazy.
Wow. And I want to get into every detail of it. But first, I just want to welcome everyone. So we are broadcasting live to 6 different destinations. So we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're in our private Mystery and Thriller Mavens book group, we're in Bitchy Bookworms, we're at Murder by the Book, we're on my channels, we're everywhere. So no matter where you're watching from, you're in the right place. This is the right time. And Tori Eldridge is popping in today on the day before her book comes out to tell us all about Dance Among the Flames. So in this very special pre-launch event, Tori's going to spill the tea, as the cool kids say, and tell us all about what's going on. So Publishers Weekly awarded this a starred review, and they said that Eldridge wows with this astonishing and challenging tale of religion, magic, and trauma. So let's start there, because congratulations on wowing PW. And let's talk about how you wove in a tale of religion, of magic, and trauma in a mystery. I mean, and this has been in your brain for 30 years. So Tori, walk us back to the moment of inception. How did you come up with this crazy idea?
Yeah, it started as a screenplay. Yeah, that was what happened in the 1990s. And I was writing something, and it was set in Brazil, and it wasn't working. And so I did a deeper dive into Brazil and went, what is it about this country, this culture, that is speaking to me, resonating with me, and exciting me? And that was the religion. That was, I mean, you know, most of the country is Catholic. However, there is this Brazilian spiritualism that is so amazing. It's called Umbanda. They call it Candomblé in Bahia. Some people have called it Macumba. And it came to Brazil in the hearts of the African slaves. It's the Yoruba pantheon of gods, and then it blended with the Brazilian indigenous traditions, ancestral worship, animism, and they had to kind of hide it in the Catholicism because of the Portuguese slave masters, because you know where they weren't having any of that other stuff. And so they syncretized it to the Catholic saints, and it just captured me. It was so beautiful and empowering, and it involved channeling spirits. And at that time, I was around a lot of people who channeled spirits, including my own
Mm,
sister. So, I mean, this was something I was very open to, and it just spoke to me. And the way that the slaves were able to preserve their religion through all of that, I got to tell you, as a native Hawaiian, that's a hard thing to do. Missionaries come
mm,
in, slave masters come in, that whole Western society, and they can just
mm.
wipe out, all indigenous, language and religions and things. So it spoke to me on so many different levels, as did the Brazilian people. When I went to Rio, everybody thought I was local, because there were just so many, the energy, the look, everything. There were so many commonalities. I just fell in love with it.
Mm.
Absolutely did.
Wonderful. Loving this backstory. Anissa, welcome to the conversation, saying hello, Sara and Tori. She says here to learn all about this book. Yes, Anissa, welcome to the conversation. Tori is sharing about the spiritual aspects of this book, how it has been germinating in her brain for over 30 years, and how the Brazilian religious aspects of her were blooming and germinating and coming to life. Absolutely fascinating. She was surrounded by people at the time who channeled various energies, including her sister. Did your sister help you channel energy for this book, Tori?
Not for this book, but she had channeled spirits for me before, at that
Mm,
time, as did many of her friends, I might add. I knew
mm,
quite a few channelers and had quite a few interactions, speaking with spirits and whatnot.
mm,
So, I was very open to this, and there's something very empowering about being able to receive higher wisdom. Whether you believe the source or not, that's really not important. It's locking into that higher wisdom and receiving information that resonates with you and helps improve your life. And in many ways, that's what Umbanda does. Now, of course, Quimbanda, that goes to the dark side, and that fascinated me for a whole other reason.
fascinating. Now, in this book, you open with a witch burning scene. I'm not giving anything away. There's no spoilers here. This is literally page one, everybody. But because I know we don't like spoilers on the show or ever. But you open in 1500 in France. Then it jumps forward to the 1970s in Brazil. So let's talk about your research into that witch burning era in France. What was that like? Why did you want to start the book there? What's your fascination with it? What's your tie to it? How did you research that very old, very scary time?
Well, how did I research internet? Which, by the way, I did not have when I first wrote that screenplay, and when I wrote the very first precursor to what would become Dance Among the Flames. Back then, I had to go to libraries, resource rooms, the place where you can't check things out and you have to actually work in there. The younger people have no idea what I'm talking about. I had to go to Rio. I had
I
to talk to
remember.
my friend from Rio. It wasn't until I resurrected this whole project like 10 years ago that internet, Google Maps, just a wealth of information. So the same thing was true with
Mm,
France. So that part was actually in my, not that scene, but that connection, shall we
mm,
say, to
mm,
this story was in there from the beginning. And
mm.
so that was how I researched that. But I mean, who isn't fascinated by witch burnings and
It is,
everything
yeah.
that went through with that?
Yeah, I was a European history minor, so I'm very fascinated by European history by that period and how we really started to see women healers, women, the precursors to doctors, herbalists, women
Mhm.
with ancient herbal knowledge, plant knowledge, healing knowledge, midwives start to be villainized for that work and for that knowledge, and it to be used as a politicized tool to start to hold women down. It is a fascinating, especially now that I live in Boston. I'm right near Salem, so I mean,
Oh
this is
my.
prime witch hunting territory. That's crazy. It's really, really fascinating. Now, Lisa Unger, who's one of my very favorite writers and very favorite people ever, who's been on the show 4 times, she raves that Dancing Among the Flames will take you on a wild, thrilling ride through centuries, which I love. I'm going to pop this up. Tautly written, mystical and action-packed. Dancing Among the Flames will take you on a wild, thrilling ride through the centuries and continents. Eldridge is at the top of her game, delivering an irresistibly sweeping adventure that will linger long after the gripping story ends. Do not miss it. Praise, their blazing praise from the incredible Lisa Unger. Now, Tori, let's talk about this, because this is, you said that you feel like this is your debut. This is not your debut. You were here earlier
No.
this year with your Lily Wong series, this one being released as a standalone. But Lisa Unger saying that you're at the top of your game. How do you feel that you have developed and ripened and elevated yourself as a writer over the course of your books?
Well, I have to tell you, at one point, The Ninja Daughter and an early precursor to Dance Among the Flames were in submission at the same time.
Wow.
Either one of them could have been my debut novel, and I have to thank the gods, maybe even Yanza herself, for interceding and giving me time, because you can probably tell just from what I've said so far, this is a big book. It's epic. It's, and it does some deep dives into big social issues, classism, colorism, bigotry, abuse, so many, really deep issues and all this crazy stuff. It would have been a lot to handle as a debut. It would have been a lot to really write it as well as it needed to be. And it would have been a lot to handle, having it out there in the world. It's a scary book. It's a scary book.
It
So
is.
yeah, so I really benefited from all of the work that I did editing, editing all the Lily Wong books and writing them, working with Chantel, on those books. And of course, my editor on Dance Among the Flames, Lisa Kastner, with Running Wild Press, and time. And through all these years, I would say over the decade, I have had such incredible mentorship and feedback from huge editors, from huge agents who are not my own editors, who are not my own agents, but who became friends along the way, from author mentors who have given me feedback and epiphanies that caused me to go, whoa, no, I need to write the book like this. Or whoa, no, I need to do it the structure like this. And then one day I just woke up and went, it's Serafina's story, you idiot. And from that moment, it was like done. It was like that was the brilliant move. It was like, it's Serafina's story. And then I knew.
And then it crystallized. Margaret Pinard, welcome to the conversation, joining us live from Portland, Oregon, saying, I love a genre bending tale and witches hashtag signed up. Absolutely loving. Yeah, Margaret, welcome, and speaking for me as well. Yes, we're vibing, loving that. Sarah White, welcome to the conversation. Loving your little Frenchie doing an upward facing dog there. She says, I am sold. Absolutely. Welcome to the conversation. So glad that we have you sold already on all of this amazing content that we're talking about, because we are getting into all the delicious details. And she is saying she is loving this Lisa Unger blurb. Absolutely. So y'all, I want to remind you, this book isn't even out yet. It is out tomorrow. So you can grab your copy today. So I'm going to pop the link in the comments. So grab your copy, and the good folks at Murder by the Book will pop it in the mail to you tomorrow. And then you too can dance among the flames. And Tori even shares a classic Caparina cocktail recipe. Tell us about your love affairs with the Caparina. Tori.
It's so funny because I don't drink. However, it sounded so good. And this, right? And this drink is fixed in one of my scenes in great detail. It's woven into a scene. And so I thought, oh my gosh, I have to share this recipe. And by the way, everybody, if you order a copy from Murder by the Book, I sent them these custom signed book plates. They're so gorgeous. Oh shoot, I wish I had one next to me, but trust me on this, they're really beautiful. They have all the colors of the book and a sign. Yeah, and plus you get a bookmark, and plus you get the caipirinha. So you get
It just
everything if
keeps
you order
getting
from River
better.
by the Book. Mhm.
It just keeps getting better. I'm loving it. And Tori, this book is earning so many other amazing words of praise. Jonathan Mayberry, New York Times bestselling author of V Wars and Ink Raves, that with Dance Among the Flames, Tori Eldridge looks for light and hope in the darkest corners of the human heart. She mixes mysticism and horror with seduction and vengeance. To conjure real magic. So I think now is a time when we're all looking for a little hope. So tell us about why you were particularly moved to seek this light and this hope now.
Oh, I write a lot of dark fiction. A lot of people don't realize that. Well, if you've read the Lily Wong books, you know that I dive into some gritty stuff, right?
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
I've also written a lot of short fiction in a bunch of anthologies, and a lot of that is for dark horror,
mm-hmm.
and dark fiction. And the reason I like that is because it gives us a safe place to look at these issues and vicariously conquer, right?
Mm,
And so there's something really empowering and also safe about being able to look at these things, expand your awareness, expand your
mm,
perception, in fiction, in somebody losing yourself in somebody else's wildly dramatic life, not your own, and
oh,
then no matter how it affects you, you get to come back to your home and
exactly.
cuddle up with your pillow and you'll be fine,
And your
right? So
caparena,
yeah,
exactly.
and your caipirinha. And so that's a really cool thing. So yeah, this book is dark. It's
Mm,
dark, but even though it does that, there are still ways that you find empowerment and hope, and
mm.
there are a cast of characters that will give you a bunch of different experiences and perceptions of things. How's that?
I love it. Anissa would like to know. So, Tori, when you were here in January, you were sharing the latest in your Lily Wong series, The Ninja Betrayed. Now you're back with a standalone. Anissa, who is a fabulous librarian, asking the cool key question. She wants to know, was it harder for you to write a standalone, or was it harder to write a series for you? And if so, why? Give us a scoop.
It's interesting. I mean, as I mentioned, it was really the first version of this novel I ever tried was written in the 90s. So I didn't know any better. It never occurred to me that one day I would have a series. I mean, these things didn't occur to me. And so, harder, I don't know. It was just what it was. I just had this huge story in my head and was so excited to write it. I really quite lost myself in the process of writing this book, which is why I think I was able to stick with it for decades. Even though I took 13 years off in between there somewhere, still the story stuck with me for so long because I wasn't so much focused on the goal, right? The publishing, the finished
Ooh.
product. I was
Mm,
lost in the process of writing it and researching it and
mm.
rewriting it and re-exploring it and reliving it. And so yeah, I hope that answered something.
Question, Anissa, as always, thank you so much for joining us. And Tori, thank you for giving us that the skinny on your process. Margaret saying what you said about, quote, a safe place from
Mm.
which to expand our awareness and then take action in real life is why she loves historical fiction 100%. Tori, your response to that?
Yes. That's my response.
Yay. Yes. Okay. Margaret, thank you so much for tuning in and for resonating with us today. Tori, another fabulous review I want to share is from Lisa Morton. She's a six-time Bram Stoker Award winner. She raves that Dance Among the Flames is a mesmerizing blend of ancient dark magic and horrors with both horrors both mystical and man-made. It was compelling, disturbing, beautifully crafted. In other words, I loved it. Congratulations on that fabulous on that fabulous bit of praise. So let's talk about what do you think the key is to writing horror beautifully?
Ooh, oh, what an interesting question.
Hmm.
Wow. All right. So for me, at the heart of horror
Mm.
is dread, dread
Ooh.
and fear, and these are universal emotions, and
Mm.
so to write horror in a compelling way, I think we really have to lock in to that emotion, right? And and
Mm.
I tend to lose myself. I was an actor, and so I joke that I'm a method writer
Mm.
because I tend to lose myself in characters and personalities, which once you've read Dancing on the Flames will horrify you, because it horrified me because sometimes I got lost in Serafina and Giancarlo, and oh my God. But when you lose yourself in somebody else's emotions, you can tap into that fear and dread and bring it out onto the page. But with Dance Among the Flames, it's got kind of a literary bent to it,
Mm.
and it has that deep cultural and character dive that you get in literary fiction and, say, historical fiction. So
Mm.
it has that kind of, I almost want to say a deep, delicious, slow burn about it. But the last quarter of it is as action packed, fast paced as anything I've ever written.
Ooh, ooh, fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, interesting,
Um,
huh? It just is what it is,
it
you
is
know?
what it is. It's interesting to let it's like whether it's a book or it's a kid, you have to let them be who it is, who they are. Sylvia saying, great review. Yes, Sylvia sharing these amazing words of praise, which Tori has earned from these incredible, incredible writers, right? They're absolutely amazing. And here we have Sarah White saying, so cool to have a story in your head that you can turn into a book. That is also a bit of magic. Absolutely, Sarah. That's a really good point, because that is a magical process to have this, this intangible idea, these energies, germinating and coming to life, and then to bring them into something tangible on the page. That itself is magic, Tori.
It did. It felt very
Mm.
magical. And keep in mind, y'all, that I didn't set out with a goal of being a writer. I mean, when I was in high school, that wasn't my goal. My goal was to get on Broadway. My
Uh-huh.
first Broadway show was when I was 19, and so I had this whole career in performing in theater and then in LA on television and film. And then I discovered the martial arts, and we all know what happened with that. And so it wasn't until my 50th birthday, that was 11 years ago, that I switched careers once again and committed myself to writing full time. So, yeah, everything about this feels magical to me.
Well, it feels magical to us too, and to so many reviewers. I'm going to share some more words of praise, but first, I just want to get over to, oh my goodness, great question here from Anissa. Is there anything that you consider just too dark? Tori,
Mm.
great question, Anissa, for a horror
Ooh,
writer in the house.
that is really dark. Okay, I will tell you that as a reader, I tend to not read, like slasher, grotesque, that kind of branch of horror. So you'll never see me writing that. I mean, I can write some really dark. I can write violence. I can write, sex. I can write all sorts of things, but you won't find it for its own sake, no matter what I'm writing, right? It has to serve the story. It has to further the character. So I will say that in all the stories that I've ever written, I have never found anything to be too dark. If it's something that serves the story, then that needs to be explored. And it's just a question of how to explore that story, because it's very important to me that I take care of my readers. Whoever's on the other end of my words, I want them to be able to trust me with their emotions, trust me that I will push them to the edge, but not over the edge. I was really careful about that with all the Lily Wong books. And I've tried to be very careful with that, even amongst something as wild as Dance Among the Flames.
I love that, because trust does matter. I know we all go to different writers. We all have different levels of what feels safe and acceptable to us on the page. I do not watch gratuitous violence shows on TV or movies. I can't do it. I'm actually kind of a wuss. But I don't like that on the page either. So it's like, I know which books I'm going to feel comfortable within the pages, but everyone has different levels. Some people,
Yes.
like it. And so I like what you said about trust. That's such a good point.
Yeah, I've tried to be really careful with my Lily Wong readers, and this is why it's really important to me, all of these quotes and the praise and the things, especially when I put it up on my website. I'll choose the ones that describe the book to brace the reader so that they know exactly what they're getting into. That's very important to me, that you understand what you're getting into,
Yes, exactly. Sylvia would like to know, Tori, as you held the story in your head for years, and I like her use, Sylvia, I like your use of the word held. As you held this, because I can really feel that. I can feel the holding of that. As you held the story in your head for years, was there a special place that you would drop mind bits as they arrived? Was it a journal, a notebook? Give us the scoop.
That is a great question. Yes. But those journals, I love journals. I love journals. And then, of course, I had files on a computer. But in the 90s, my computer was like so sad. It was like black and white word processors. So, oh my God, remember those? No, you don't. You're too young. But if you're a little older.
I'm old enough to remember. I do remember them.
Okay, thank you. But even with that, there's something about a journal. But here's the thing. I went through so many journals that these little tidbits are scattered on all of these little things. And you should see my online files, my computer files. They go on, and the folders go on, and the Scrivener goes on and on and on. So it's really quite a trip trying to find the source of anything at this point.
We need it. You need a file to reference the files. Sylvia, great question. Margaret also raising a good point here. Oops, I just lost it. I accidentally scrolled past it. I'm going back now. Margaret saying, so that's what I was hearing in that rich laughter, a trained stage voice. Love the intersection of stage and page. Ooh, I've never heard that before. Tori, tell us about the intersection of stage and page.
Oh, there actually is a pretty big, intersection. When I write, I think of music. I was a singer. I trained in opera, but then I ended up going to Broadway. And actually, at one point, I was trying to get a recording career. I recorded a little bit with Brian Wilson. I was supposed to go on tour with Michael Jackson in the 80s. I was actually hired until they fired me 2 days later after they hired Sheryl Crow. Sheryl who? Anyway, just a little tidbit, throwing it out there, but I mention it because when I write, it's all about music and cadence. And to me, that is connected to my singing. And I already mentioned that I'm kind of a method writer, especially when I write dialogue. It's like schizophrenia time. My husband, my adult son who lives with us, are calling, did you say something? I'm like, no, I'm writing, leave me alone. Because I'm talking at myself, and I'm being the person and I'm embodying the character. And I tend to, even when I'm writing the prose, I tend to write it aloud. And that all comes from acting. The dance, I think, fed into martial arts and makes a huge difference when I'm writing fight scenes because I choreograph them on myself. I literally fight myself anywhere in the house that needs be. Once I even choreographed a fight against myself in my car, in my garage, because that was in Lily Wong 3, The Ninja Betrayed.
Wow.
So yes, there's a huge intersection, backstage secrets. Yes, there's a huge intersection between my past career and now.
Margaret is saying she loves the backstage secrets. And I am loving it as well. So now I'm just going to picture Tori both fighting herself and also singing to herself. So I'm just gonna let's see. I'll just open to a random page. Adriana had not witnessed the spectacle from the shore since her days at a escola. And I'm picturing you now saying you singing that. Adriana. Like, how is that going,
Adriana.
Tori?
Adriana. Oh my God, that name. Every time I say it. In fact, Michael, when he meets her, he stops on that and he actually comments on the name Adriana, the sound of it in his mind. She
Adriana.
is named from my friend from Rio de Janeiro. My friend was named Adriana, and I always love that sound. The musicality of that. Serafino Olegario. Oh my God, Giancarlo, Hersenj. I mean, geez, these names, I just love, I love to hear them. I love to sing them in my mind.
Yeah, I think people want to hear you sing, Tori. Margaret saying, yes, 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 we want to make her sing.
Oh
Sylvia
my
saying,
God.
not going to lie, this information is fascinating. Margaret saying, I once choreographed a fight against myself.
New author goals. All right, you want to hear me sing? I'll sing a little bit. This is
Okay, sing it.
it has nothing to do with Dance Among the Flames, but it was my go-to audition song when I was 19, auditioning for Broadway musicals. And believe me, back then I sang a whole lot better. But let's see here.
Okay.
Summertime and the living is easy. So that's all you get.
Meaning inventories go to auditions. I love summertime. This has been absolutely fabulous. Oh my goodness. Well, Tracy Clark is awarding us Collapse.
I got to say something about Tracy Clark.
Yeah, Tracy, tell us.
She gave me a blurb for the book that was like, blew my mind and basically said,
I have it right here. Actually, I'm going to
everything I wanted to achieve from this book. I mean, she just like blew me away. And coming from somebody like Tracy, oh my gosh, if y'all don't know Tracy Clark's books, you need to get on that yesterday.
Tracy's currently up for an Anthony Award and will be back with us. She's already been on twice. She will be back with us in December, giving us the scoop on her brand new book. We cannot wait for that.
Yes. She and I are going to celebrate at Boutricon because we both have books nominated for Anthony's. Amazing. The Ninja Betrayed got nominated as well. So we're going to be partying up.
She raves that Dance Among the Flames is an evocative, erotic, mystical deep dive into the roiling cauldron that is race, culture, and family. It transports readers to another time and pulls them back again to this one, satisfied, wiser. What a tour de force. What fun. Tori Eldridge brings the fire. Tracy Clark, that review is fire. She says, oh, my honor, what a great book. And she also says, let the party begin.
Yes.
Y'all, what a perfect note, pun intended, to end on. So I'm going to drop the link one more time. So pre-order now. And you too can dance among the flames. You can make a caparena. You will get a signed fabulous book plate. So here you go, and voila. Here's the link in the comments. Yes, here's my copy too. So grab your copy. You two can dance among the flames. Tori, thank you so much for coming on and for giving us the inside scoop about Dance with the Flames. And I will look forward to seeing you at Thriller Fest next week. And everybody,
Yay! That'll be so much fun.
Yay. And I will be back tonight at 7 and 8 o'clock with Gigi Pandian and Jamie Lynn Hendricks. Stay tuned for Mystery Monday because Mondays can be murder.